Yeah. We have medications that we're replacing with nutrients, GABAergic medications, right? And so we have strong evidence from our perspective. If you're to consult with psychiatrists who have used this for many years, they would say there's strong evidence that we're affecting GABA. What do nutrients not affect in the body?
Yeah,
that's the real question. It's nothing. Everything is affected by nutrients, and that's a huge difference between a magic bullet approach of a medication. Even a few different medications used together, they're very limited mechanisms of action involved. With nutrients, there are a multitude of mechanisms known, and many really sparsely known. Vitamin K has receptors in the brain. You mentioned a blood clotting medication. That's an interaction that could happen with blood clotting medications. Vitamin K could be involved, okay? Yeah. We have vitamin K in our product, so it's not a good idea just to add the nutrients.
Yeah, curcumin's another one you don't really want to take with the blood.
Right. So these things need to be carefully monitored.
Milk thistle can also make your medication, anywhere from 4 to 12 times more effective if that's one that it slows down the liver processing of, which is not people get in trouble.
Yes, that is a major interaction. So Corey went through the pharmacodynamic interaction where the nutrients are used in the body. We're building the base of nutrients, and more serotonin is produced, and it's regulated better. More dopamine is produced, it's regulated better, and all of those functions require nutrients. In addition to that, the liver enzymes and intestinal enzymes, cytochrome P450 enzymes, are a major source of interactions with medications. We speak with medical doctors all the time. This catches their attention. They know they need to monitor medication levels when they learn, and many of them don't have it on their radar, at least, that the synergy effect of these nutrients used together is known to affect medications. Even taking nutrients separately, considering them separately, vitamin D inhibits 9 different cytochrome P450 enzymes that we've found in the literature. And it includes all of the major ones: CYP3A4, CYP2D6. And when you look at interaction checkers, vitamin D is listed as a moderate or a major interaction effect with different medications involving cytochrome P450, 3A4. That's the most common one used to process medications in the body. And 2D6. These enzymes are actually naturally used for vitamin D itself. That some of them are called a vitamin D3 hydroxylase. That's the name of the enzyme. It's used for vitamin D in the body. But the medications come along and the body uses the same enzyme. So it's a competitive effect. The body can't clear the medication as quickly because vitamin D is there. Now you think of the implications here seasonally. Many people in the United States have vitamin D produced in the skin if they're outside. Many people are not. But if they're outside, they can have a lot more vitamin D in the summertime than in the wintertime. They might be over-medicated in the summertime because the vitamin D is blocking the excretion of medications, metabolism. So the medication builds up in their bloodstream. People say eventually, after a few days out in the sun, they say, I don't feel well in the sun. They think there's something with the sun. Well, I think this might be a mechanism involved. Vitamin D is increasing, and it's increasing the side effects of medications. As a result, more medication is being kept in the body. It's not able to be processed and excreted. And so in the wintertime, the opposite could happen, right? Vitamin D levels are low. Person might be lacking medication. They might feel more depressed on their antidepressant in the wintertime when they're not producing as much vitamin D. So you have these fluctuations. I think those are very real. And a person can smooth those out by supplementing with vitamin D and keeping a more constant level throughout the year. But the good news is they could also achieve the ideal, from our experience, in
a lot of natural traditions. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. There's kind of
gradually lowering the medication over time with the help of a prescribing clinician,
Hmm.
right? And eventually what we find is the optimal dose of medication is 0.
Yeah. Well, and like there's a million examples, but if you go through kind of older, ancient world traditions, a ton of this stuff was just naturally figuring out how to manage these things. A lot of food culture is around that. It was relatively modern, that they started to make sauerkraut so that people didn't get scurvy on boats, because you could keep sauerkraut, but you couldn't really keep citrus fruits.
Right.
But I mean, even going back like the ancient Vikings, I mean, you drink mead in the wintertime. And the mead there is different than what we're making now. When you use honey must and a lot of the natural stuff, you end up with vitamin K and vitamin D and probiotics that you're not getting as much sun, in the winter, because it's cold. And to survive in Norway, you got to be in the mead hall or the tent with a fire. Whereas in the summer, you're out on the ocean. So, a ton of those things are just the society left alone, naturally figures out how to kind of regulate itself and it comes up with ways to make these things tradition, even if we don't know why. But a lot of how we sort of are failing to have a myth or guiding principle or any sort of, cultural center in the modern world. We lose all that stuff. And then we don't know why we feel bad. And you guys are part of the project of trying to rebuild those things.
Yeah. And money makes it difficult. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah, if you talk about citrus and scurvy on the boats. A lot of people have heard about that. How long do you think it took them to mandate that? Over 100 years since they first found it out. So sometimes things are a little bit slow.
Yeah.
But we talk a lot about science stuff here, but there's so much stuff beyond the metabolism and all the vitamins and the lithium, whatever it is. You got the mom that's sick and tired of going to the principal's office because her kids can't be handled in school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the mom decides to try this, and a month or two later, some things really start changing, and the kid doesn't visit the principal's office anymore. And we've been doing this for 23 years. We got just about 40 medical journal publications, 40 of them, and the evidence is pretty clear, at least to me, that if you give your body what it needs, that it will repair itself. Nutrition isn't the fast train, but it's the right track.
Eat my greens, nutrition. You ain't on my vibe, then I don't gotta listen. Working out, sleeping in, taking vitamins. Vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C. Ooh, vitamin D, vitamin bitch, vitamin please.